and Norbert in Atlanta. Hey, Norbert, what's on your mind? Thanks for listening to SiriusXM.
Thank you. So I just wanted to respond to a caller few minutes ago about making the comment about the electorate not being very educated, and I don't think that's necessarily it. I agree. Most of the electorate does not try to educate themselves about most of the side of the story. I think one of the big problems is that a lot of the electorate are one-issue voters, and
Right.
that they don't look at all of the things that a Trump presidency or a Hillary presidency will affect. So you've got a lot of religious voters who mostly care about, abortion and gay marriage. For example, they're not paying attention to what happens on the international world, the statements he's made about NATO, things like that. And so if they're not looking at and considering all the positions of a candidate, then they're kind of limiting themselves and are going to do themselves a disservice.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a great point. And you find the gun single issue voters, the abortion single issue voters, I suppose on the Democratic side maybe climate change single issue voters, but I think that the single issue voter phenomena is much more prevalent on the Republican side because the Republicans have figured out that basically the Republican Party is a scam. It's a front group for billionaires and corporations. And you can't get elected by saying, hi, we're here for the billionaires and the big corporations. And that's all we do. That's all we're interested in. So you've got to put together a coalition. You've got to bring other people in. And so even though it's really all about the money, they say, well, it doesn't hurt us at all if we prevent women from having abortions. And if there's a certain amount of misogynistic men and even some women, who are opposed to this, then let's bring them in. It doesn't hurt us at all if racial strife in this country increases. So let's bring the racists in, get that vote. That goes back to Nixon, the Southern strategy. Got to bring in the racist vote in the South that you can't win. It doesn't hurt us at all if the NRA wants to. In fact, it helps us because the NRA will help fund our campaigns. If there's more guns in America, more killings, more new towns, more deaths, more mass, that doesn't hurt. It doesn't make us less money. If anything, it actually makes more money. Arguably, every time somebody is killed, it stimulates the economy. You've got the cost of a funeral. Well, maybe it doesn't stimulate the economy over the lifetime that they would have had, but you get my point. And so what the Republicans are doing is they're bringing together all these, they're identifying these single issue voter slices that you described, Norbert, and pitching to them until they get a large enough coalition that the very small slice, the top 1% economically in the United States, they're going to vote Republican no matter what, and most of them, because the Republicans purely represent their economic interests. But you can't win an election with 1% of the vote or even the top 10% of the vote. You've got to have more than 50%. And so this is how they do it. And you've really put your finger on it. Thank you, Norbert. I appreciate that.